Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Free Tip Scout, and we have a brand new stream plan today where we're going to be doing some Sorare and Pookie content, which I know you guys are all going to love because we've got some cool things to go through today. Before we get started, just a quick heads up. If you were not on the stream from yesterday, then you probably don't know that I'm suffering a little bit. I'm a little bit under the weather. So if I sound a bit more nasally, or if my voice sounds a bit deeper, and if you hear me sniffling down the mic, which I'll try to limit because I know that's pretty annoying. But if you hear all that today, then it is because I'm a little bit under the weather. But we're going to try and power through. I've been loading myself up with Albus oil just to try and free up the the airwaves. And just to try and clear my nose up, because my nose is the main thing here. I actually feel kind of okay, but just my nose is really blocked up. So apologies, guys. We will keep crack on. But yeah, I just feel and just obviously. This is what we're winning, guys. We're winning a tier 5. We finished 577th in cap 220. We were only really aiming for a tier 5, so this is actually a pretty good reward for us. Of course, the leaderboard is finished now. We actually had a 5.8 point cushion, so we finished quite comfortably in the end. Happy with this, happy with it. It's not going to be anything amazing, this card, because it's a tier 5, so it'll probably be a card worth like £1 or less or something, but it means that we get an additional option for cap 220 probably, and then maybe cap 242. It might even be a card that we give away to you guys as well. So yeah, happy with that. We're not really running loads of teams at the moment because we sold a lot of our players. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we sold a lot of our players over the last few weeks so that we could fund a rare rebuild. So we only entered 2 teams really, 3 teams. Cap 220, MLS Amateur, and then Cap 240. Cap 240 was a throwaway team, basically. It was, like a semi-punty team where we were running a DMP goalkeeper. We didn't think that we'd actually be able to hit threshold, and we didn't really. We were miles off, so this was never really an expectation to hit threshold. We did have a higher expectation to hit MLS Amateur, though. We wanted to try and get a card award. We felt that we had the players to do it. We kind of did, but we didn't get the scoring that was required, especially from Mukhtar. So Mukhtar got benched, which was really annoying because that just doesn't really happen to Mukhtar. But the one time it did happen, we happened to captain him. So yeah, it kind of screwed us a little bit. But we also didn't get high enough scoring from our our defensive players too. So this was kind of like the one game mode from the last game week that we were really like trying to win a card reward in properly. So it's quite nice that we get something from it, which is cool. We've got a very similar team in the live game week right now. So MLS Amateur, this is for the midweek. Pretty much the same team, apart from we've got John McCarthy in goal and then Gustavo Bo up front. We've got the captaincy on Mukhtar. Can't see it, can you? You can only see it when you look at the multiplier, right? There's no kind of like C, but we have the captaincy on Mukhtar. Yeah, which I think was a good call, hopefully. And then we kind of went with this as well in cap 220. We went this double stack in the end. I didn't change it, so I ended up going for Marlon and Janino. We were talking about this on yesterday's stream, saying that there's a bit of a risk with this one because Marlon's one of those players you never really can rely on to play all the time. But just figured that we could do it. It used up all our points, basically, for the budget. And it gave us a double stack in this lineup. So we have to wait and see. If we win a tier 5 here, I'd actually be pretty happy with that. I don't think we can really win anything more than a tier 5. If we don't win a tier 5 because Marlon costs us because he DMPs, and honestly, like we only are losing a card that's like worth £1, which is why I quite like taking the risk in cap 220 now, because with the team that I have, the realistic aim is like tier 5s, maybe tier 4s, and it's not really a high value card that you're risking, so it's worth taking the risk really. If we had like an amazing team here of like high value, high pedigree players, then I wouldn't have put Marlon in. But because we don't, it just made sense to play Marlon and just risk it for a biscuit. Those are the only teams for the midweek, really. MLS Amateur and then Cap 220, no threshold or anything. So what we're going to do is I started to do it this morning because when the new deadline is in place since today, I actually did start to put together my lineups again, run with for the weekend. Yeah, Grilak, Hollingshead, Blake, Sepulveda, who's probably going to struggle to justify his L15 of 44. And then Jose Estrada. Then what we're going to do, I think, is throw in, do a throwaway team. New York versus Cincinnati, and then New England versus Atlanta. I'm thinking for this one already, we could do 2-1 to begin with. We're going to come back and do that properly. And then I'm thinking for New York, Cincinnati, this actually could be kind of like 1-1. My only worry with this one is that this really has to be under 2.5. Because if the problem with like a 1-1 prediction in Pookie is that if you kind of do 1-1 and it doesn't end up being a draw, and it's not under 2.5, then you get nothing. That's my only problem. So with like 1-1 here, it's only 219. That's what I'm worried about here, guys, is that it's almost we're taking on too much risk here for very little reward. Because especially with this ball, right, if it ends up being a win to New York and it's under 2.5, then we will still get some points here. But I think it's unlikely for New York to win and for it to be under 2.5. I think Cincinnati will score. It's just then a case of can New York outscore them? And to be honest with you, when we look at the New York team, I don't really feel that this team should be able to outscore like Cincinnati. So maybe what we need to do here, on the second thought of it, is maybe we need to do something like that. Just to cover ourselves a little bit. So this is kind of quite an interesting point that I just want to like explain to you guys, right, why we're thinking of this. So New York, right, they don't concede a lot of goals at home. Cincinnati don't score a lot of goals away from home, but recently these two teams have been involved in some high-scoring games. Now, I think it could be New York, right, that win, maybe. But I think more likely it could be a draw. Now, if we go for the draw here of 1-1, and then say New York end up winning 2-1, or Cincinnati end up winning 2-1, which I think could happen, then we're not going to get any points for over 2.5 on a ball that has over 2.5 quite boosted. If it's not a draw, then we're going to hardly earn any points here. And in order for us to earn the full amount of 219, it needs to be under 2.5 on 1-1. And I'm not super confident, actually, that it could be 1-1. I feel like if we are thinking it's a draw, we could maybe cover ourselves by doing this instead. Because then, if it is a case where New York win 2-1 or Cincinnati win 2-1, then we still get the over 2.5 points, right? Because we went 2-2. If it ends up being a draw, we still get the points, even if it's 2-2. If it ends up being a draw and 1-1, then we still get the points. So I actually think this is probably better. Because I think that we give ourselves more options to score points this way. Even if we miss out, right, on the exact correct score, the exact correct score isn't that high anyway, at 219. I think this is better. I think this is actually better. The other thing as well is that if for example, Cincinnati do go up 2-1, then there's every possibility that New York could still squeeze the second goal, right? Just to try and level the game. I think this is better. We're going to do that. Because the upside to this score is way better than the 1-1. Like the 1-1 was 219, the 2-2 is 434. Obviously, if it ends up being 1-1, we still get points because we would predicted the draw. If it ends up being 2-1 to New York or 2-1 to Cincinnati, or if it's just over 2.5, we still get points at the 2-2, but we wouldn't get the points at the 1-1. The 1-1 is basically saying that it has to be under 2.5 and it has to be a draw. I think this just gives us more options to score points. So we're going to do 2-2 for New York and Cincinnati, which if that comes off, that would be amazing. We are going to keep it at 2-1. Here we go. So 161 and 138. All right, cool. So 161 has won Ralph Prizzo. 138 has won Ben Davis. Let's go and find out who those winners are right now. So 161 is James Cunningham. So James Cunningham, you've just won yourself a Ralph Prizzo limited card from being a subscriber to the channel. Thank you so much for the support. And I'll be dropping you a message in your Twitch account after this stream to let you know how to claim. And then we also had 138 was the last number. And 138 is Darkstalker. Darkstalker's usually here in the chat, isn't he? I don't know if Darkstalkers is here right now. If Darkstalkers is here, congratulations, man. You've just won yourself a Ben Davis limited card. So well done to you, Darkstalkers. I'll be sending you a message after the stream into your Twitch account. And also to James Cunningham, who was number 161, who wins the Ralph Prizzo. So congratulations to both of those two guys here today. I'm a bit tempted to pick this guy up, even though I don't really know much about him. It's very difficult to go wrong on like 21-year-old goalkeepers for 60p. He might be the one that we throw in here. I think we've done okay. We picked up Mehmet Youth, we picked up Efekan Karakar, we picked up Nasa Chadley. So basically lots of the Turkish Super League guys are really cheap at the moment, it seems. And we're just picking them up, guys, not because I'm trying to... It's not because I'm trying to build out more limited teams or anything like that. I'm going to be giving away cards, so I'm trying to reduce my limited numbers down. And I think the limited players that I do want to have in my gallery, I want to try and have limited players that have only really cost me like 60p, because then it's very risk-free for me by having those type of players in my gallery, because then if they end up retiring or if they end up getting a long-term injury that then makes them not able to play, or they move to a league not covered in Sorare, the actual risk, or the actual outlay on one player is only 60p. And the upside is huge then if they are playing for a club and they're doing quite well, because then you have a card that costs you 60p that can potentially help you to a threshold of, say... Big thank you to everyone that's been on the stream here today. Massively appreciate it. All the subs as well, all the love and support, all the gifted out subs, all the follows, and also all your patience just with putting up with my sniffling. My nose has actually got a lot better. So hopefully tonight will be way better. But thank you guys for the incredible support. We'll be back again tonight at 8 p.m. UK time, where we'll be doing our Sorare Football Manager Luton to Legend save. So hopefully you guys can jump in for that, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And as Sopsy said, I'll probably end up getting sacked, which will always be quite fun to watch as well. So, catch you later. And thank you for the incredible support, guys.